Welcome
Meet
back,
me.
boys. So today we're going to have another RTA video, but a little bit different because these are the matches that I've recorded. I've been recording matches when I go up against top players or streamers or stuff like that, but I wasn't really talking during them. So I'm going to do the commentary after the fact. So basically, I'm going to commentate myself. And I've been a little bit more active in RTA this season. I have never been in Legend RTA before, so I figured let's go ahead and try and push because usually, like the thing about RTA is the ladder's always inflating, right? So unless you're doing enough games, you'll never get to Legend because if Legend is 2,500 one week, the next week it'll be 26, then it'll be 27. Last season it got all the way into the 4,000, so you have to be pretty active. So this season I've been playing, probably have like 200 matches already. And I tried to see if I could break into Legend. So we're going to showcase some of these matches right now. It's a match I did a few days ago against Shuffles. I actually ran into him quite a few times. Every time I play him, I feel like he's up on me like 3-2 or something, but a lot of times he likes really picking Fire Cecilia and Valencia or cleaving me. So this time it looks like he's actually cleaving me. And I don't actually remember the outcome of this match. Um, some of these matches I do lose, and some of these were a few days ago, so they're not fresh in my head. So I don't really remember if I won. I want to say I lost here because you could see from my draft that I'm kind of panicking because I didn't expect him to be going cleave suddenly. Um, and obviously that's what he's doing. So my response is pretty bad. My politis or politis, however you say it, actually has pretty garbage gear on. So I'm kind of hoping that he bans it because it's pretty useless anyway. Because it's on like unreforged gear. And just looking at the draft, I'm fairly certain I lose. Looks like I'm thinking of banning the LQC. I don't think I'll end up banning that. Looks like I'm looking at banning the Flitica or the Alots. Who knows? I think I was just caught off guard here by the fact that he went this draft. And looking at the draft, I think I'm pretty much going to lose because I let an Oxlots and an Operator Sigrid through. So unless that's just, I think I was gambling that it was a speed Operator Sigrid, but looking at this draft, it seems pretty clear that it's a DPS Opsig, and if it is, I pretty much have no chance in hell of winning. And it does appear to be. You could see that OpSig's pretty low on the CR bar, so pretty much this means that it's going to get bumped up to the front and I'm going to lose 2 units. So I'm assuming that he kills either LR Crow or FCC with the OpSig. And then I'm pretty much out of options. His team has Skill Nullifier. Flitica doesn't even bother using the S2. He could have if he wanted to, but it would have reapplied Barrier. And here we go. I'm assuming he goes on to LR Crowd just to get rid of one of the damage mitigation options. Looks like he's thinking a little bit here, but I think he has this in the bag. So he goes on FCC first, and immediate one-shot. Actually, I do remember this match. So I got really lucky this match. He got a little lucky moments too, but I got a lot of perfectly timed MLDBs from T-Cern. So this is looking real bad right from the start, right? So here he can just finish off Arbiter if he wants, and then he's going to get a huge barrier. And that's exactly what he does. LR Crow is still looking healthy though. I do GAT, but they have Skill Nullifier and Blood Moon Haste Barrier. So there's really nothing I can do here. And then Alots is back up. The only play I have really here is T-Surin, and you're going to see that I get some timely things here, like I do get the MLDB there so he's not silenced, and because Alots and Flitica are so fast, they're actually cutting my T-Surin and dropping those fat Blood Moon Haste barriers, and giving me an opportunity to make a comeback here. He does get the blind here, but he does too much damage and it falls off. And now I could take out two of their initiators, the Alots and the Flitica. They both survive, but I chunked them pretty good. The Opsig is strong though, so he one-shots my Arbiter. So from this point, it looks pretty much over, right? But the thing is, he doesn't really have that much damage outside of Opsig, but he is going to be able to rotate a lot. He goes into T-Surin here. I actually feel like he should have just focused down LR Crow, but I guess he felt that he could finish off this T-Surin here. But doing that gave me a barrier, and this might have killed my T-Surin, but again, MLDB. So that was really good, and here I decide to just take out their main DPS, the Opsig. So it went from a 2v4 to a 2v3, and now they have very squishy units on the board, unbuffables on Alots and Flitica, and he gets a lucky dual attack there, and that almost ends the game, but he doesn't have any reach because he blew his S3 already, so he can't actually target the T-Surin. So now he has to hit LR Crow, and LR Crow does still have the horse, so this is not over. Like, some people might have yielded a few turns ago, but this is not over yet. So I do get the horse off, and I do have blind up, but it doesn't really matter. We get some decent damage out here. And then Alots goes again. He can't really hit anything except the LR Crow. And now T-Surin's up, and I opt to kill Flitica here because her turn's about to come up. And Blood Moon Haste can kill T-Surin here, but guess what happens? Boom, boom, boom. MLDB again. Alots still does not have S3, so he can't really do anything about it. So he pushes up Blood Moon Haste because he's really trying to, I think, reset the Blood Moon Haste enough times to get the S3 back. But here, I have my S3, so I soul burn it. I try to lifesteal as much as possible, because if I can lifesteal more than 50%, he can't be one-shotted, or T-Surin can't be one-shotted. And from this point, the match is over, because now he has no real answers to T-Surin. You'll see that he wasn't able to one-shot it because of her passive. And we take the game. So that was a close one. It looked really bad from the start, but those MLDBs were very timely. It's why I like running T-Surin on MLDB. I know a lot of players in Legend love Alexas, but I don't want to put a plus 15 Alexas on her. Next game is against Lamix. You guys should recognize him. He's in the Hall of Fame. I think I have a few matches against him on this channel in some of my old RTA videos. I don't remember how I generally performed against him. But I do remember this match. I'm pretty sure I get quickly hosed because I get outdrafted. So I go triple knight. Lamix has G-Purge and Basar on the board. And I want to say he goes some kind of DPS draft and totally shuts me down. I feel like this was a fairly quick match. Yep, so he does take the Opsig. So he definitely goes some kind of DPS draft. He gets the RB. I have Lilius to deal with the Basar, but if my memory serves me right, I think the Lilius actually gets banned out, and that kind of cucks me, and I just end up losing. So here I'm kind of confused. Like, when people whip out the Opsigs in like a 3-4 pick, I immediately kind of panic sometimes because it's not clear to me what they're doing, because clearly they're going some offensive build, right? And the Opsig builds are kind of a variety of them, like the high speed effectiveness builds and fastish speed, high DPS, and then some people even run like the super slow, extremely hard hitting ones that one-shot your entire team. But at this point I'm assuming it's kind of the middle tier speed, high damage. You don't really need to be slow because even at 230 speed, if you can get an attack buff, you're going to one-shot anything with barrier anyway. So I take T-Surin. At this point I don't really know what to ban. I want to say he bans out my Lilius or T-Surin. And it looks like I'm staring at the Basar, because I know that if Lilius doesn't get through, Basar is going to shut me down completely. But then I'm also scared of all these other units, because I don't have an answer to the Crow, really. I have an answer to RB in the form of Archdemon, and I end up deciding to ban out Opsig just in case, because I do have 2 sources of barrier on my team, and anything with barrier will die. So I'm wrong. Actually, I think he hits my Lilius. So the Lilius does get... I do remember not being able to cleanse anything this match. So I'm pretty sure he just hits my Lilius. Obviously, he doesn't burn because he can't rely on hitting Lilius. But you can see there he does hit it, pushes it back, and then this opener totally neuters me. Luckily, Archdemon resists, but it doesn't matter. Now here I think he stuns Lilius. Yeah, see, he got the stun, so pretty much I can't cleanse this turn at all. And then I want to say after this, he also like silences her or stuns her again or something. But I remember I was never able to cleanse, and you can see this opener is going very poorly for me. And I'm already at the point of no return, because even if I can kill the RB somehow with Archdemon, my team has literally no answer to the Crow. So at this point, this match is long over. In most cases, I would have yielded here, but because I had Archdemon, I think I was hoping for some super insane, like 5x Archdemon counter into a burn scenario. But it's pretty clear that that's probably not going to happen. My whole team is unbuffable, Lilius is stunned and can't cleanse, and I'm fairly certain in pretty short order I'll yield. I don't really like to drag matches out if I don't stand a chance. So I do get a counter here and take the RB out, but I think I probably realize soon I have no plays and yield. And yep, there we go, I give up, even though we kill the RB. Alright, next match, I don't know who this guy is. Some of these I recorded late into the draft. Here, I'm probably going to ban out, I don't know, Fire Charlotte or Tomo, I'm guessing. I feel like I wouldn't care. Oh no, I banned out Delabet. I feel like I normally don't care about Delabets because they don't seem to cleanse properly. Oh, I guess it makes... I had Cerise on the board. That's why I banned Delabet. Because I don't have to be scared of the Tomo no matter what. So I wouldn't ban Tomo because both my Fairy Tail, Tenebria, and Cerise should be faster than Tomo. Alright, I feel like this is just going to be a pretty quick match. My opener is away, but he doesn't have G-Purge, and my entire team is faster than his. So you can see that Tomo barely did absolutely nothing, basically. And at this point, I would probably just go straight into the Landy, finish that off, and this basically the reverse of what happened with Lamix, right? He opened on me so hard that I was so behind that I couldn't come back. This is essentially the same situation here in reverse. I opened so hard on this guy that, you know, he really has no plays. Like, yeah, he has a Charlotte, and Charlotte's pretty good, has some lifesteal, but at this point, what does he do? He has no reach for the S10A other than Charlotte, but I have a Cerise on the board who's gonna be able to just shut the Charlotte down eventually. He can horse something here, but again, like, RB didn't even use Revive yet. As soon as RB dies, he's going to come back and just dunk someone. And even LR Crow survived. I proc Gat here. Charlottes are typically not on counter, so you don't have to worry about anything like that. I land a defense break. I just keep going into Charlotte because I know it's not counter. And yeah, game over. Alright, let's move on to this next match. This one's against Elv Mage. I think he's pretty well known in the community, and he was legend here when I played him. I want to say that there's two matches against him because I feel like we were both queuing at the same time, and I ran into him twice in the span of like 20 minutes. So here I go my typical triple knight draft. FCC LR Crow Lilius. I like this because it opens up a lot of options for me. Especially like because I haven't played this guy in a while. I don't really know what he usually likes to use, and that triple knight core is typically very safe. It's hard to counter. Well, hard counter, like you could counter it obviously, but it's pretty adaptable because I have a cleanse, I have immunity, I have tankiness, and here because his draft has no real reach, I go S10A and I also go Ravi because he has Bassar, Flurry, G-Purge, all single target heroes that don't do a whole lot of damage. So I pick Ravi and S10A, and I feel like he would most likely ban the S10A unless he plans to draft an answer like SSB or something for his last pick. Although I do have LR Crow on the board, and picking SSB into LR Crow can get pretty scary. But I feel like at this point, I have a pretty good draft. I probably banned a Kisei here because it's the only thing that's going to do a lot of damage. APOC Ravis typically don't hit that hard. They're usually more on the tankier side, so looks like I'm thinking either Basar or Kisei. I want to say I take out Kisei because I just want to protect my Ravi. So he does ban Steny because his team had no reach. So basically it was suicide to let that through. And I feel like this is most likely going to be a pretty long match. So apologies in advance. So the Flurry goes first. He's going to go into Lilius because he has no choice, or Lilius will just cleanse everything. He does Soul Burn it to make sure that it lands. And Lilius essentially is out of the picture. He's going to just blow the S3 now. It's not like FCC or LR Crowd effectiveness, so other than 15%, he can't get screwed. Although he does miss on Ravi, and FCC does 15%. Attack buff goes up here, actually stuns my Ravi, so I lose that turn too. But Lilius at least drops one of the provoke turns, but she doesn't make it through this, I think, because of the death break. I can't even protect her with FCC, so I try to, in desperation, provoke the APOC Ravi. I don't get it because of Crimson Sea, but then I end up stunning her with a lucky dual attack. I know the unbuffables are up and I probably won't be able to cleanse it, so I just dump the S3 here. So at this point, Elf Mage is just trying to take this Lilius out before she can cleanse and, double grass. But he is getting hits onto my Lilius, so she's dropping quick. And with G-Purge's damage, she does not make it out. Immediate 3v4. Now they switch to LR Crow. And at this point, Elf Mage is probably feeling fairly confident, but I'm also feeling confident too, because in my eyes, he does not really have an answer to my Ravi, except a defense break with Flurry into like a Soul Burn or an S3 from APOC Ravi. So basically I felt like we were in a race here to get souls, because both of us were probably playing to Soul Burn and kill each other's Ravis, and that was our win condition. Whoever kills the other Ravi first wins. So I'm trying to buy time and just build up as many souls as possible. You can see he actually has a soul edge on me. Mainly because of the Flurry. His Flurry is crazy fast, so it's just taking a million turns. But I think I feel pretty confident here still, because my Ravi is Timeless Anchor and the Cleansing EE. So unless he times it perfectly, I can probably remove it. So he does Soul Burn, he's probably going into my Ravi. He does. And this is where he's going to go for the kill, right? So you can see I'm kind of scared here because I don't want the APOC Ravi to one-shot my Ravi, because he probably could with the Death Break. So I'm going to keep trying to hit him and trying to get provokes in. And I do get that lucky provoke. Unfortunately, my Ravi does not cleanse with the S1, but Elf Mage cannot cleanse either, and the APOC Ravi is provoked. So he can't go into my Ravi. So I'm actually feeling pretty confident here, and my souls are almost at 2. Elf Mage had used his souls to burn my Ravi, so at this point, I'm feeling pretty good, because my Ravi's coming up. Next turn he'll be able to Soul Burn. I go for a Provoke again, but he Crimson Seeds at that time. And here, looks like I'm just continuing to hit the APOC Ravi, because I don't really care if he counters. That APOC Ravi does not hit very hard. So this speed tuning works out nice because my Ravi's going to go before the APOC, which means that defense break is going to fall off, and I do not feel that he can kill my Ravi without the death break. And now I get that second soul. You could see me checking the skill cooldowns, and I'm about to go for it. I'm about to go for it and kill this APOC Ravi. But the Flurry is so fast that he also got his S3 back, but he doesn't have souls to burn this time. So he goes for it, but he bricks the defense break. So again, he's in this bad spot where he can't go after my Ravi. With Adamant Shield, Fallen CC, Aureus, he knows without the death break he can't kill my Ravi. And Timeless Anchor gets rid of the provoke, but I get stunned. You could see me continuing to try to provoke the Ravi and keep it out of the picture. And look how weak it is, because it's quite tanky. Like, it could barely break my FCC barrier, even at Battle Frenzy 5. This is why I'm feeling pretty confident, because I'm not feeling a tremendous amount of pressure. Like, FCC barriers are almost keeping my team up. She's almost like a healer for my team. But with that dual attack, we are starting to take a bunch of damage. I just continue to try and provoke the APOC Ravi. That time it doesn't get seeded. And here is where I'm going to go for it, because Flurry doesn't have her S3 anymore, so she can't stop my Ravi. And at this point, I'm probably just going to try and drop this APOC. And I do. I Soul Burn, Battle Frenzy 5, one shot. And the Ravi's gone, so at this point it's pretty much over, because Ravi's pretty strong. But then I start realizing that this G-Purge actually hits really hard, so if he gets a Death Break on my Ravi and G-Purge hits her, he can actually one-shot my Ravi because the damage is so high from Battle Frenzy. So at this point, I'm still a little bit scared, but I do have LR Crow Horse available, so I don't know, it's kind of just a DPS race. It just gets kind of nuts when Battle Frenzy gets this high. But he misses the Provoke there, and that actually ends up being huge. If he hit the Provoke there, he might have been able to take this, but he breaks the Provoke. General Purge does not have 100% Provoke, and I get to get the Horse off. And watch this damage from G-Purge with the Death Break at Battle Frenzy 7. One-shots my Ravi because I lost life. I hit the G-Purge, so this one came pretty much down to the wire, but my LR Crow is max Moled, and I think we slap him there, and we take the W. Alright, so let's move on to the next match. Looks like it's Elf Mage again. And again, I take FCC first. Given the opportunity, the vast majority of the time I do just end up taking FCC first, just because it's a very safe pick. Waiting to see what he does. He goes into an S10 a first pick and a Crow, so I'm probably going to take Landy here. Landy or Basar is my guess. I take Basar, and I do take Landy, because I want to give him things to deal with right away, right? Because both those heroes are very susceptible to both Landy and Basar, and his answer is Flurry. And this is scary for me because this is a legend player. My Basar is only around like 265, so I have to give him respect and assume that that Flurry is faster than my Basar. So essentially it means that my Basar is off the table if I let that Flurry through. So I need to start thinking about damage options here as well, because he drafted a really tanky team, so I need to make sure that my Landy gets through. So I draft Arbiter to give him another damage option to worry about. And I don't remember what I take last. I could even... well, there's Ravi, but there's a Crow on the board, so that's pretty scary to draft. I don't actually remember what I did here. Do I take Ravi, or I have liked using random Tomo picks a lot lately, or... Oh, you know, I probably go Cerise. I probably go Cerise because Cerise is my best answer to Crow. Yes. Looks like I'm eyeing it, and I do draft the Cerise. And he takes Blood Moon Haste, but I feel like I probably wouldn't ban Blood Moon Haste here, because I could probably just ban out his only DPS, and that is what I end up doing, and he takes out Landy. So here, his Flurry is probably going to outspeed even possibly my Cerise, but now I have two units going before his team. He can't provoke both Basar and Cerise, and Basar means that I can kind of shut that Blood Moon Haste down. So I don't remember who he provokes. Let's see what he opts. And look, his Flurry is faster than my Cerise. This is why you have to give Legend Flurries respect. He does opt to go for Basar. Obviously I have no reason to hold my skill, so I'm going to dump the S3 here. His team has no cleanses other than Troublemaker S3, and it's not worth holding for that. So Troublemaker actually 15% to restrict, but it doesn't really matter because he could have cleansed himself anyway. And I don't remember who he S3s. Crow maybe and get that defense buff up early? Yes, that is what he does. He'll probably try to push back the RB here. Oh no, he's just trying to kill Basar. So the good thing about Flurry Burst Basar is you can see his S1 transfers debuffs back, so I actually transferred some debuffs back, and I'm hitting that Flurry quite hard. The problem is the Flurry also has defense buff, so she's extremely tanky. Even with the Death Break, she barely took any damage. And now I do this to try and block some of the damage, because I really want that Basar to survive until he can S3. Troublemaker's probably just going to keep trying to stun Basar. Luckily I don't get stunned. And Blood Moon Haste, I guess he could dump his S3 here, hoping for the RB to die and resetting. At this point, he has no more sustain, so I'm just going to try to go balls to the wall damage on him. I probably just S1 the Troublemaker or the Flurry. The risk with S1ing the Flurry, even though it has a Death Break, is the counters. So it looks like I choose to hit Troublemaker. And now it's pain time, because Basar got through. So I think overall my draft was better here. He's actually performing quite well, considering that I think, you know, the draft isn't too good for him here, because he has Blood Moon Haste versus RB, but with Unbuffable being there, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. And because Flurry is Death Broken and got the Death Buff stripped, she is sending a ton of damage to the Troublemaker now. So I might even just Zerg the Flurry now and just risk eating the counters from Troublemaker to try and do as much damage as possible to both Flurry and Troublemaker. Yep, looks like I continue. Oh, I'm thinking about it. No, I poked the Troublemaker this time. Get a lucky dual attack, but just Cerise damage. And now we go for more control from Basar. He soul burns, and this is very lucky. The provoke wouldn't have mattered a whole lot, but the fact that I resisted, I 15%ed that stun, that means a lot. Because now RB can probably just finish off the Flurry. And I hit the Flurry because the damage sent to Troublemaker would kill him anyway, there's no reason to hit him. And now Flurry is super low. Now here, the Unbuffable dropped off of Flurry, and it's going to drop off of Crow as well, because the revive technically happens on the next turn, right? So Crow and Flurry will still be able to get the Blood Moon Haste barrier, but it doesn't really matter. Look how low the Flurry is. Technically, Blood Moon Haste resets, but I get a lucky provoke on him as well. Not that it matters, because if I didn't provoke, I was just going to stun him with Cerise. But I don't even need to here because he got provoked, so I S3 instead. And this removes all the stuff that Blood Moon Haste just did. And now we're back to square one. My team's pretty high HP. He's controlled, so I think he yields here. And he does. Let's move on. Alright, who's up next? Retry Ever. I want to say this guy was like rank 5 when I was playing this match, and I actually don't remember what happened. Actually, I want to say I won this one, because I feel like something happened, like some RNG thing happened, and he started emoting me, so I'm pretty sure I win this one. But anyways, I go Cerise and Basar because he picks G-Purge. He goes Delabet, and he has G-Purge, LQC, Delabet on the board. I want to say he also goes, like, Ray or something. I don't remember. We'll see. He does go Ray, so here, I'm definitely not going to draft more control units, right? Because he has 2 on the board, I can't ban them both, so one of them is going to go through. So at this point, because he has nothing fast, I pick Tomo because I want a lot of damage, and Tomo can also CR push my team. So I take Tomo and RB because right now I had no DPS until the final 2 picks. And here I'm just waiting to see what he drafts last. So I have 2 control units that are pretty much dead in the water because he drafted Delabet and Ray. And I'm sure that's like a 250 ERA. A lot of people were running those. But at this point, I'm not feeling too bad because I feel like he won't ban Cerise or Basar, so probably one of my DPSs will go. And he ends up drafting Troublemaker. So again, like the other match where they only had one DPS, anytime someone drafts no less than 2 DPS, I just banned a DPS. Especially, like, it might have been risky, except for the fact that I have FCC on the board, so if they don't have true DPS, just my FCC barrier is going to be able to offer me a lot of protection here. So here I'm debating what to do. I know Delabet could just cleanse everything, so I just go for a stun Troublemaker, and I actually get a defense break on him. My miscon file was above 50%. Oh, that's what happened. I get a lucky dual attack into Troublemaker, and then I burn into Arby, and Troublemaker's dead immediately. So it becomes an instant 4v3, and I think this is where he starts emoting because he knows it's over. Yeah, so he starts emoting, so I start emoting. At this point, it's pretty much over, right? Because Ray is a pretty squishy hero, and Delabet, you know, even if you have Godly Gear on her, she doesn't hit that hard, and I feel like this is one of the harder hitting ones I saw. But again, I still have FCC on the board, so it doesn't really matter. I have plenty of damage mitigation just from FCC's trolley existence. So she just opens with the S3. I don't really care all that much. I probably put up the S3 here because there's no reason to hold it. I don't care about bumping up Delabet. She blew her S3 load already, so no big deal. Basar is stunned. But again, doesn't really matter all that much. Look how little damage they're doing. So at this point, it's pretty much over. So I just decide to go into the Delabet, and looks like he just yields. Alright, next one. What do we have here? We're up against Mace 1370. I think this guy has a YouTube channel, or someone interviewed him, because I want to say when I was on YouTube, I saw like a Mace account overview, like a Legend account overview. I didn't watch the video, but I assume there's only one Mace Legend guy, so I'm going to assume this is him. And he has the top 100 frame, so I don't remember how this match went. I want to say that it was a close game, but I lost. We'll see. So he goes FCC and Crow. Oh, he banned Basar. I was gonna say, I probably draft Basar next. I don't remember what he drafts. I take the Landy right away, so it's not an option for him. He takes Fire, obviously. There's a good chance I take S10A, I'm guessing. If I see these three, I'm going to want them to be scared, so I probably want to put S10A. They have no reach. No? I take Tomoka. Okay, so I probably want to open with a lot of damage. But I'm surprised I don't also take Steny. Unless I take him last pick. I feel like Steny would be an excellent choice here. So I think I know why I picked Tomo. I probably picked Tomo to try and deter an RB pick, although it doesn't really deter a degen RB at all, because he has both Fallen CC and Crow on the board. Although typically they'll have overlapping artifacts, unless he runs them together often and FCC's on Adamant, but almost always FCC's on Aureus because of T-Suring. But he does end up taking F10A, and as you can see, my team really has zero answers to F10A, so I'm kind of forced to ban that. I wonder if I go S10A or RB, because I probably want to go RB, but I'm probably also scared of... oh no, he took the RB. Because last picking RB is scary. Well, not last picking, but for the last second pick, RB is scary for me because I always run into Blood Moon Haste. I probably take Steny? What would I take here? Oh, I go Doris. You know what? He probably ends up banning Doris. Doris is going to be very annoying for him, especially if he's double stacking Aureus, because the Crow will not really be able to kill anything, and Doris can keep everyone healthy against just a Ravi and an RB. So he probably banned Doris here, and he does. And let's see how this goes. I actually remember this match now. It was very close, but I do end up losing, and you'll see why at the end, but it really could have gone either way. Here, I'm going to open with the S3. No reason to hold it. Looks like I'm thinking about something. Maybe I want to debating stunning and looping back to the front because our team is not very fast. But I do end up just dropping it. And it is a degen RB, and you could see he got lucky and Moonlight Dreambladed, so he doesn't get the restrict or the slow. And I probably just go into FCC here, right? Because I can't really kill anything. I need to get this FCC on the board, get this damage mitigation on the board, so I can get to a point where Tomo can one-shot things. Because they really have no reach other than the RB. And of course the FCC S3, but that doesn't really count. So I have a pretty decent opener here. I wonder if I burn this. No, I don't burn it. I guess because his team doesn't have that much AoE. And because LR Crow could probably just get Horse, but the Crow is really low already. I wonder if he just horses right away, or if he actually puts up the defense buff. Okay. Oh, actually, I probably stunned the Crow. So I stunned the Crow. Yep, I stunned the Crow to deny the horse. I do get it. RB goes up. Obviously, he's going to drop the S3. He does have attack buff because my Cerise noodled and we got MLDB'd. And Cerise takes a chunking there due to that. He tries to finish off Landy. Landy barely survives, and here I need to kill the Crow. If I get horsed and lose something to that, it's a big problem. So I just Zerg into the Crow now. Bring the absolute worst person, LR Crow, so I'm forced to waste Landy's turn to hit that as well. But not a huge deal, because the rest of them it's Skill Nullifier anyway. And here, I'm kind of scared to hit the Ravi, because she can counter me, obviously. And the problem here is my Tomo's about to lose stealth because I didn't kill anything with the S3. And they're all coming up, so my Tomo needs to survive. Otherwise, I just straight up lose. I do get a dual attack to take out the FCC. And here, I risk hitting the RB. Luckily, she doesn't counter me. Now I probably try to get the skill Nelly off Ravi, but she does counter me. Luckily, she has Restrict, so at least she can't push herself. And RB probably just kills Cerise. If Cerise survived here, it would have been very different, because I could have locked down the Ravi with Cerise, but Cerise dies. So here it's pretty close. I need to kill the RB, and I believe it dies. I believe I do hit him. Yeah, so the RB's dead. So now it's a 2v1, but the problem is it's a Ravi. So he can S3 here, but he chooses not to because he doesn't want to stun Tomo, I guess, because his only chance is to try and get a counter on my Tomo. And I think that's exactly what happens, because if he didn't counter Tomo and I got another turn, Tomo's S3 would have one-shotted this Ravi. But you can see here, I get countered right away. She actually stunned, so the second one doesn't even go through. And at this point, it's over, because there's no way my Tomo survives. So I think he just drops the testicle and finishes off Tomo at this point. And there's no way an LR Crow is ever going to solo a Ravi. So at this point, I know it's over. Looks like I give him a thumbs up out of respect because that was a good match. He gives me a little bow, and I yield out, and let's move on. Alright, next match. Who do I play here? Lunali. Here he just says he's champion, he's not repping one of his frames, but I think I versed this guy, like I recognize this name easily, so I'm pretty sure he's a top player. And I think he cleaves me all the time, so I think I immediately was expecting a cleave. I take FCC anyway, but I want to say this is someone who likes to op sig. And he does take Opsig, and I happen to know he has a really jacked Opsig. So I take Cerise to speed contest with one unit right away, try to give him like a must-ban unit. And then I start going anti-cleave. I take Archdemon Shadow to put some RNG into play, and also my Archdemon is incredibly tanky, like 17k life, 1700 defense. And at this point he picks Fabria, so now I also am risking being controlled. But I know he doesn't have strips, because if that Opsig is faster than the Fabria, it's not going to do much damage. So I'm not really too scared of it, the Fabria itself at this point, so I probably don't draft anything to counter that. And I go Fighter Maya, and I believe I go Ruel, because so far I'm not really respecting his damage all that much except for the Opsig, and I feel like if I get a good revive off on either Fighter Maya or Archdemon, either of them might be able to solo this team. So I don't really remember what I ban here. Probably the A-Lots to deny the attack buff to the Opsig. Either A-Lots or Opsig are most likely my bans. Definitely not Arby or Cdom. And I do end up banning A-Lots to deny the Opsig. Deny the Opsig the attack buff, if that wasn't clear. He banned Cerise, because he respects that's probably faster. And because FCC is there, you'll notice he didn't open with the S3. Also, he didn't want to strip barriers. But he does manage to one-shot the Fighter Maya because he ignores defense, and Fighter Mayas don't have that much HP, so even without attack buff, he just straight up murked her. But the Cdom most likely can't one-shot Ruel, right? And he probably knows it, that he can't one-shot Ruel even with attack buff through FCC, so he just kills the FCC. Looking pretty bad, right? But I'm actually not feeling too bad here. Here I have a choice, Fighter Maya or FCC, because there's no skill reset, so I'm wondering if skill resetting or bringing up FCC into an S3 is worth it. But I say no, because my Fighter Maya is actually really jacked up, and I feel like at this point, if I could take the Cdom out, he doesn't have enough damage to do anything. So I think I debate Opsig or Cdom, but ultimately because Cdom is going to like turn cycle me over and over, I just opt to go straight into the Cdom. And because it was a hard-hitting one, I didn't think it'd be tanky. I 100 to 0 it in one hit, and my next threat is the Opsig because I feel like my Ruel can just tank through an Arby. And here I go for the seal, I get it, so I proc the S2, we blind their whole team, and that's huge actually, because now Fabria has a chance to miss, but she ends up hitting the Ruel anyway, and she has a lot of effectiveness, so she actually lands the provoke onto Ruel. But now the Arby has seal, so he can actually be killed here. Archdemon procs another S2. At this point, I probably want to kill Arby is my guess, because he hits more targets. I probably just finish off the Arby. And we do. And Opsig still has her attack buff. It never got stripped, so she just one-shots my Ruel. But at this point, my Fighter Maya can probably just solo it. Archdemon does go, almost kills the Opsig, and at this point it's pretty much GG. We just bop the Opsig, and we take the W. And it felt good, because I want to say that this dude beat me a bunch of times in like less than 30 seconds by cleaving me. Alright, this is the final match that I recorded for this, and it's against Jinxes. He's been legend a few times, I think. He's always kind of up there on the leaderboard, so this dude's really good. See my standard FCC first pick, because I don't really know what kind of player he is. It's hard for me to remember players, because there's so many of them, unless they do something really wonky. Like, I only tend to remember the players who cleave me, because then I need to watch out for, because my normal 1, 2, 3 picks are not very effective against cleave. So if they are cleave players, I keep that in the back of my head to know that I better be drafting anti-cleave very early. Like Landy and F10A against a cleaver would be a very dangerous combination to pick. So he goes F Flurry, Crow, G Purge, and Rylot. I typically hate dealing with Rylot. My answer to it's usually Archdemon Mercedes, but I don't think it's a good pick here. So I just go RB because he has no real sustain or extinction. And it's very possible that, what else would I go here? I could even... Oh, Cerise. That actually makes sense. That's usually what I draft against Crow because I hate dealing with Crow. And because of the World Championships and all the Asians playing Crow, everyone's drafting Blue Crow early these days. And I like Cerise because it slows him and you can lock down the horse at the right time with DS2. And he ends up going Archdemon. So this is an easy ban for me, I think. I need to take out Flurry because defense break and provoke will shut me down. He gets rid of Cerise, I guess, to give his Crow free reign. But on the right side, that means that his team has no real answer to Fabria other than the Rylot. So at this point, a lot of it just comes down to Rylot RNG, because I actually feel like I'm pretty confident in my opener, because I'll be able to drop Fabria's S3 and they have no way to get rid of it. So Rylot does dodge that, and they start going into FCC. So I do have a little bit of damage mitigation, and I send back to provoke S2, and this is huge actually that I land the silence onto Crow, because now there's yet another turn where he cannot horse. He goes into Fabria. A lot of people do that. I don't always agree with it, but I guess he didn't really have any other good options. He could have tried to just wipe out the RB right away, but I feel like after Fabria drops the S3, she doesn't really do anything, so I don't really feel like there's any reason to kill her, unless you think she's going to rotate back around, which I don't think would have happened in this game. And Jinx's Rylot is schnoozing today, so he just ends up getting hit by everything. Although I don't think it would have mattered all that much, because what I was actually trying to do was to get him to counter into my skill nullifier while it was still up. But because he got hit so many times, he's still only at 3 stacks. He's still trying to take out Fabria. He'll S3 here. He needs to stun RB and Landy, and he does stun RB, but the Landy gets through. FCC gets stunned instead. But RB could have taken out the Crow here. Crow's very low. I get the reset because of the attack buff from G-Purge. And we drop the S3. And again, the Rylot is schnoozing and gets dumpstered. And at this point, it's all over because he could seal and kill RB. But Landy is just going to be too strong against us now because Archdemon doesn't do a huge amount of damage. She just kind of, you know, she does a decent amount of damage, but it's like, again, it's not like a 10k hit or anything. Landy will be able to survive at least a few turns, and this G-Purge is already super low. So at this point, we wipe the Archdemon out, and it's a wrap. So there we go. That's the end of the video. This is the point where I finally break into Legend and RTA. So I was pretty happy there. It was a fun ride. There were a lot of other matches in between, but I wanted to put in some of the matches against like the heavy-duty players there, so you can see kind of how they draft, how those matches kind of go. And I hope this was kind of entertaining for you guys. And I'll probably take it a little easy on RTA now. Just do like a match or two every 3 days so it doesn't decay. But yeah, near the end of the season, maybe I'll try to do the push again, unless I get hosed so bad by some of these top players that I get demoralized. But we'll worry about it when it gets to that, and we shall see. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys are doing your own pushes, best of luck. And make sure to leave any questions or comments in the comment section below. Till next time, boys, peace out.